Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. A few days ago, I was talking about creativity. I was talking about how God empowered people like Bezalel and Oholiab and others for producing great craftsmanship in the construction of the tabernacle. And we talked about how many of the most beautiful buildings in Europe, some of the greatest paintings in history, some of the most magnificent sculptures, some of the greatest music and songs and literature were produced by Christian believers for the glory of God. And that's continued down through the ages. I think even of people like C.S. Lewis, who wrote not only great Christian books, but wrote those wonderful Narnia novels for children that have captivated generations of children because underpinning them and underlying them were some great biblical truths. And of course, Tolkien as well, who wrote the Lord of the Rings cycle of books as well, was a committed Christian believer. In fact, he was also a Bible translator as well. For the Jerusalem translation of the Bible, the Jerusalem Bible, Tolkien was the one who translated the book of Jonah. So he was a towering force in creating wonderful stories that even today are known so well through the Lord of the Rings movies, but also did it because of his love for Jesus Christ. He wanted to produce something beautiful in God's name. And I'm glad that that continues today. And one modern day example of somebody who has been gifted by God to produce great art is Charlie Mackesy. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Charlie Mackesy, but his book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, basically it's like a children's story, and yet it's full of truth and full of wisdom. In fact, early on in the pandemic here in Ireland, whenever Leo Varadkar was Taoiseach, he attributed a quote from Charlie Mackesy's book to C.S. Lewis, because it sounds like the kind of profound thing that C.S. Lewis would have said, but it was actually Charlie Mackesy. Now, the good news is that Charlie Mackesy, as well as producing beautiful children's books, is also a committed Christian believer. He wasn't always. He used to be an atheist, but came to a living faith in Jesus Christ. He's produced videos, for example, for the Alpha Course. He is an evangelist and a Christian preacher. And his book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, is now being produced as a short film to air on BBC this Christmas. And I'm really looking forward to this because it's a great story. And some of the actors they've got to provide the voices, our own Gabriel Byrne, the Irish actor, and also Idris Elba, one of the most recognizable actors and has one of the most recognizable voices. If you've watched the TV series Luther and a load of other programs like that, Idris Elba is also doing some of the voices on this BBC project. I'm looking forward to it. You know, Charlie Mackesy has worked with other people. He worked with Nelson Mandela on a particular project. And his heart is that he's producing something beautiful, something creative for God that's also going to open doors for the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because beauty was created by God. And God has always empowered people and inspired people to create beautiful things. And I pray that this beautiful little story of Charlie Mackesy's that's going to be on television, on British television, and no doubt we'll get it on RTE as well here in Ireland. I pray that that will be used to bring people face to face with beauty, because when we come face to face with real beauty, you know, that leads us ultimately to the greatest beauty of all, which is God himself and Jesus himself. And so I pray that people might start off by watching a children's program on TV next Christmas, but they'll end up meeting the beautiful one who is Jesus Christ, the Lord of Lords, and the King of Kings. May God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.